Need to forge right in here. Bring that in a little bit. Ah, there we go. There we go. All right, let that heat up for a little bit. Get it going. All right. Doing a brute to forge knife. Well, hopefully. I started one earlier, but I had a crack in the handle. So I broke it off. I don't know if it's still hot. Nope. Yeah, I had a crack show up in the handle. I don't know why. So I had to, well, it broke off. So out of the other end, it was starting to come into the shape I wanted, but we lost it. So we'll let this heat up. We'll forge out another one, get the handle done, and then I'll move on to the blade, and that'll be neat. But we shall see if it's gonna work. I was kind of hoping to do this shape as my kid's, his first knife he's ever forged, but hoping to do that shape. We're gonna see what happens though. Oh, I need to change some stuff up on this bad boy. Let's grab that. I'm gonna forge right in there. Get that a little bit more rounded. I'm not going to take deep, heavy blows. I'm just lightly moving this thing around. Since it's a brute to forge, I have to be very specific with where I'm hitting it, because I want a swell to be right here, this point to be the wide point, and then for it to get a little bit skinnier after that. So I got to be really careful with how I forge this, because you can ruin it with one hammer blow, especially when you're doing a brute to forge, because I don't want to grind this to shape. I want to forge it to shape, which makes everything a lot more difficult, but also a lot more better. A lot better. A lot more better. A lot better. I don't know what's going on with my chat. For some reason, it just says connecting to chat. So I don't really know what's going on with that. I can't see what you guys are saying. It's just kind of weird. How do I fix that? Oh, there we go. Now we're working. Beautiful. Connected to chat. I'm doing good. How are you doing? What day is it? It's Monday, right? It's Monday. It's Monday. Okay. Oh, how's everybody doing on this Monday morning? I'm gonna watch a little forging, point of view forging. I'm gonna get this knife forged out, make it look nice. Hopefully. What's my name? My name's Tori. That's my name. What's your name? Great, thanks for asking. What you're working on? I'm working on a brute to forge knife. Brute to forge means that you forge it to shape and do very, very minimal grinding. So it's a lot harder, but it's also a ton more rewarding. So you can see I'm squeezing these together. I'm going to make my way down. Get my palm swell in there. There we go. We're going to also do a little bit more up there. To be very precise with these hits. So we're getting there now. So I'm just going to continue getting this palm swell kind of put in there. I got to forge right here. I got to get that angled in pretty good. So I'm going to work on that part. Basically just right at the end. Just really getting that hammered up. But we're getting there. I got to take quite a bit of heat. So this is only 1/8 inch, so it's pretty thin. Which is the only bummer with that is it heats up quick, but it loses heat very fast. But it's all right. We're doing good. All right. Mohammed, hello. How are you guys doing? It's hot in front of this forge. It's a little more toasty than I thought it'd be. Actually, I'm going to turn down the heater. Are you ever going to try moving towards full-on videos? I am. I have a few. So I already have a few on there, and I'm currently working on a full build video on this. This crazy looking knife. But yeah, that's the whole point of this YouTube is I'm going to start working on full videos. So the next one's going to be a voiced over one. So I'll explain the entire process of me forging it out. So how are you? Oh, I'm doing great. How are you doing? I'm just out here forging, bringing you guys along for the little journey. Why not, you know? All right, let's get the very end of this kind of hooked in there. You can see that's what I want, is that little hook in there. So you gotta forge it a little bit and then straighten it out, otherwise you'll lose it. And you don't wanna lose that. So now keep forging that down. There we go. Now we're working. It's looking more like a handle. The nut twizzler? What? Now we're getting somewhere. I'm going to keep forging that in, and then we're going to get this pushed up a little bit further. What is your name? Chin Chin. What you make? I'm making a brute to forge knife right now. So currently working on the handle of it. I'm really trying to work on my forging skills of like getting the handle forged to shape and not ground to shape. So it's a lot more difficult, a lot more effort than grinding it out, but it's so much more rewarding. So that's what we're trying to do. Hot. I'm all sweaty. I turned off my heater, right? I gotta make sure I turned off my heater. Nice. Yeah, we're working. We're getting it. Okay, yeah, I turned off the heater. Making sure it's turned off. I put these drips on here the other day. Kid loves them. Makes it look like there's like slime dripping all over the shop. I love them. I think they're sweet. But shop's coming together, which I'm pretty stoked about. I remember asking previously, but I'm curious if your answer has changed. What is your favorite knife? A Twizzler edition. My favorite knife. Oh, that's tough, honestly. That's so hard. I'd have to think about that for a second. My favorite knife. Man, that's tough. What I need here, I'm going to use this ball peen. Slowly get this stain. There we go. Little ball peen action here. Now I need to forge this part in a little bit more too. We're getting there though. I was a little upset when my last one cracked this morning. Spent part of the morning working on it and it just whoop, cracked on me. Okay, there we go. Our swell's a little too big. We're going to bring that in a little bit. Is this a sword? No, this isn't a sword. Way too small to be a sword. Hi, Antonia. Your previous one, was that clear resin knife? Yeah, it was. I'm already working on the next one. We'll see if I like it the most, but... is it a knife? It is a knife. That is true. It's too small to be a sword, but it's going to be a knife, so for sure. I'm just trying to get this handle shaped the way I want it. Right now we're getting close. I need to bring the butt of it in, so I'll show you how I'm going to do that. Yeah, the clear one was definitely my favorite, but I don't know. It changes so much. It's so hard. There we go. Now it's heating up. Whew. Oh, it's so hot in front of that forge. It's almost like it's 1,500 degrees. So I think what I'll do is I'm going to take and put that in the vise on this next one. And then I'll be able to forge the butt of it down without everything else moving. So that's kind of the next step on this blacksmith knife here, or brute to forge knife. So we'll take it and put it in here, right, like so. Get that really tightened down. And then we'll get that worked on here. All right. Okay, all right, there we go. So you can see how that's pushing this part down, which is what I want. Now, once you get it started, you should be able to kind of hammer it in little by little. Maybe even give it a little of this. We'll see though. I gotta heat it up one more time. I'll probably put it on the vise again. The vise is definitely the best way to do that. Favorite knife making and knife handle making methods. My favorite knife making methods is definitely forging them to shape because it's just fun, it's cool. Handle making method, I mean, I do so many handles, that's tough. It just depends on what mood I'm in. Sometimes I want to do like clear resin, cool looking stuff. Sometimes I want to do antler, experimental stuff. It really depends, so that's hard. What's up, Duck Rabbit Forging? I almost was a Duke Rabbit. But yeah, right now, brute to forge is really where I want to try. I want to get my skills up even more. Because it's one thing to make, I can make a functional handle, but to make a handle not just functional, but the visually how you want to be able to forge it is way more difficult. Has there ever been a knife where you just went, this is a crazy complex? There's, yeah. I've worked on knives. Actually, the last one I'm working on, I gotta forge on this. The next YouTube knife that I've been working on, my YouTube video knife, is probably, it's the hardest knife I've ever forged. It was my most complex knife I've ever forged. Very difficult for me. God, I hate stuff moves like that. There we go. Now we got that. That's the point we want right there. Beautiful. Look at that. See, there you go. So now what we got to do is got to work on cleaning that up a little bit. You can do that one of two ways. We can take the right at the edge of the horn of the anvil, kind of use that, and that will smooth that little hook out. There we go. Now we're getting our shape. There we go. Yeah, baby. Pop that back in there. Ah, where's my other tongs? Getting hard to fit those. There we go. Oh, what'd you guys say? Sorry, I've missed them I got a phone chest mount and it works super well. That's rad. Good. Turns out FPV streams do good. Yeah, dude, it's interesting, right? It's because it's really cool. Does using a vise make forging more difficult by sapping the heat? Yeah. So, unfortunately, a vise, anvil, any of it, their heat sucks. I mean, they are literally, that's what they do. So they're just gonna suck the heat out for a while until you forge on them. Like this one is warm, so it won't suck it out as much. But in the mornings, honestly, if you're cold forging, like in the mornings, I'd heat up a random chunk of steel and just put it on the anvil or in the vise just to preheat it so it doesn't suck out as much heat, because it will. It'll definitely suck out the heat. And that is always a bummer. All right, I gotta move it. These tongs are too big to fit inside that. All right, let's continue forging. I wanna get this back a little flatter. More designed at. There it is, that's what I want, so I get that point. Yeah, see, that's what we're looking for. So we'll get that forged nice and squared off. Okay, we got our little hook in here. Now I got to work on getting this forged down. It's so crazy moving this metal to where you want it to be. And it's so satisfying too. But you got to be very specific with where you're hitting it. Very specific. All right. Let's see. Hold on a sec. Let me put that in there and then I'll look at your questions. When I'm forging, I have to pay attention. Usually when I'm grinding stuff, I can answer questions right away, but forge's a little different. Let's see. Cheers. What's up, Crab Castle? Anders, rock and roll. Have you seen the bismuth knife made by Kawami Japan? I have not. I've seen bismuth though. Are you streaming again today? I mean, I am right now. What settings do you use to stabilize the video? It was super shaky for me. It's not so much the video, it's the setup. My chest mount is really, really tight. And I also have this extra piece of Kydex mounted to stabilize it. So that's kind of the deal. Otherwise, it'll be super shaky. So making sure your mount itself is super secure to your chest is the biggest thing. Interesting. Could you use some thin insulated material like asbestos, just for example, to keep the heat in? It's not worth it, honestly. It's just not. It's what they do for thousands of years. The metal has sucked heat out, and it is what it is. But you just you live with it. It's something that every blacksmith knows happens, and it's part of our forging process is the heat, those giant heat sinks. All right, I'm gonna forge right in here, but I'm actually gonna use a light hammer. I don't really want to take off like a ton, because this is a brute to forge knife. You can take away way too much material, or move too much material way too fast by using a big hammer at this stage. But we're getting really close to being good. There we go. Just gotta clean these transitions up a little bit. Ink. Okay. I think the last thing I need to do is I need to forge right in here a little bit. Not quite. For the handle at least, I still got to forge in the blade. We're getting there. Ah! Come back. All right, let's see. Definitely need some thicker material. Yeah, the business knife was really interesting to watch. I haven't seen it yet. I've always been interested in forging, but New Zealand law prevents me. Laugh aloud. Gotta love prohibited weapon manufacturing. Oh, jeez. It sucks. It sucks when something's literally been done for thousands of years. Blacksmithing, all that stuff, and you can't do it. And it's just, I mean, I understand to an extent, but people suck. It sucks that something that we would do because we love it and we'd never hurt anybody, we'd never want to cause harm, and idiots have ruined it for people, and it sucks. Ugh. Dumb people. Ruining it for the good people. Just want to make cool stuff. What's up, Mike Robbins? I'm doing great today. How are you doing? Hope you're doing fantastic. What state are you in? Well done, dear Jan. Well, thank you very much. I don't really give out. Honestly, I'm not a huge fan. Being on lives and stuff, I don't give out like personal information, to be honest. It doesn't really matter what state I'm in. Not like a personal thing, I don't like giving out that information. Unnecessarily. All right, let's forge this part in. Finger well area. We'll get that. So it's gonna spread everything out, which is fine. We'll work with it. And it's just slowly gonna forge out this finger well area, which is actually gonna make it nice for your finger, if done right. Just drop my clamps. Ugh. Or my vise, my grips, my whatever they're called. Tongs. So I'm doing light taps. I'm not trying to move a lot of material right now. We are in that final stage of the handle. So now you can see what we're getting for right here. And you can see how it's kind of like forged out, bulged out a little bit. So that's what we're wanting. We're getting really close. The handle's a little bit skinnier than I like, but that's okay. So that looks good. Now I think I'm gonna work on doing the blade itself. So this one, I think what I'm gonna do, just looking at it, let's do like a little mini kukri style, maybe. Maybe that's what we'll do. So I'll forge in a little bit right here, and then we'll bring the tip in. So I wish I could, I wonder if I can tighten these things up. I don't have another set of these these tongs. Oh, look at that. Oh, I'll be almost a little bit more, and then we'll be able to grab the handle. Let's see, is that good enough? Can I grab the handle now? Close. Ooh, that's really close. A little bit more. Tighten her down just a little bit more. Okay, I think we got her now. Okay, so we'll forge in that just a little bit, and then I don't really need that much. I'm gonna cut off the tip. I don't need that much steel. I'll show you, it's a really neat trick to cut off the tips of these knives. I'll just use the edge of the anvil really quick and Let's see. Oh, there's a rule. Somebody probably did something bad for it to be made. I understand. I was just trying to figure out if you're Canadian because I don't know any American accents. I'm not Canadian. No, I'm in America. Yeah, thank you. Looking awesome. I finally get a break from the brain rot. Well, good. I'm glad. Oh, exactly. But would be nice to learn it properly. Same with welding over here. I can't get gas because I need a high pressure storage license before I can learn. Jeez, be careful. Broken tongs doing that cold. These aren't. These ones are mild steel, so they shouldn't break. So, if these were at all like 4140 or anything, they definitely would just get destroyed. But they're mild steel, so. Oh man, I have no idea what that means. I'm so sorry. Okay, so I'm gonna cut off probably at least an inch. Once I forge the tip in here, this thing's gonna grow. So I really don't need it to be that long. So as soon as that tip heats up, we're gonna chop that off using the edge of the anvil, which I don't have a hot cut tool right now. I should probably make one. The ones I broke were mild? Wow, I don't really know. Interesting. I've never had an issue doing that. I've done it with a bunch of my tongs, and I've never ran into an issue. Okay, so now that the tip is warmed up, this is how I will cut off the tip. So if it's too long, I'll just come over here, put it on the edge of the anvil, hammer right there at the edge, and just like that, you just cut the tip off. Kind of bend it back and forth a couple times. And there you go, now your blade's shorter. So now I can put it back in there and I can forge out the tip. So we'll get the tip forged in, at least roughed in first, and then go from there. Obsidian knives are so cool though. Obsidian knives are cool. They're rad. I just am not, that's not my jam. I have, well, had one. I don't know what I did with it, honestly. But I did have one before. I did not make it though, I bought it. Oh. I don't know if you guys want the point of view or do you want to be mounted. I can mount you right here so you could see the forging process, but what's going on? Trucker for life. Indeed, the example of Jesus before God is like that of Adam. He created him from dust and then said to him, be, and he was. The truth is from the Lord. So do not be among doubters. Okay. Point of view. Yeah, they're too fragile to handle, but really sharp. They are, right? Okay, point of view. Okay, the point of view. You guys like it. Good. I mean, it's easier for me to do the point of view because you're just strapped to me. I don't have to change anything. So, all right, we're going to forge this tip in. So I'm going to start from the top, and we're going to forge a little bit behind. Now, since this is 1/8, it's going to want to just collapse on me, so I'm going to have to keep straightening it out. But one of the keys to forging these is, I'll show you in a second. One of the main things you got to look out for when you're forging, let's heat that up, is the way I'm striking this is I'm actually striking it right back here. Don't hammer. I don't hammer like this because what would happen is I'd actually create a V notch inside and get a cold shut. So as I forge right behind here, it actually pushes the center of the steel out. And that's how you get the tip. So whenever you're forging, you don't want to be striking straight down like this at an angle. You want to be behind the tip a little bit. And that pushes the steel out in the middle instead of closing it. They call them fish lips. Let that heat up. All right. Your view is so much cooler. That's cool. I'm looking at you from Argentina. Green coat, you're a great knife fighter. Thank you. Forged in fire. Gracias. Wow. Por la tradición, amigo. Watching from India. You guys are all over the place. This is crazy. Super cool. I love it. All right, this tip will kind of determine the shape of the knife. And honestly, there's a few things that I got to change, but I'll get it. I'll get it figured out. A couple of things I want to change on this knife. I really do need to forge. Let's see. I need to cut a chunk of steel out of this. It looks like one wrong tap can ruin it. It can, yeah, for sure. Honestly, you're living my dream. Well, that's cool. All right, so I definitely want to cut this. This is a piece of ABL stainless steel. It's 3/16. I'd like to forge out of this. This was just some stock I had lying around, so I grabbed it. But the 1/8 inch is just, it's really thin. It's hard to forge the way I want to. I mean, it's fine, but I really do want to forge with the 3/16. Understand your knife is worth the money it is. Oh, thank you. Because I have no relative? What? All right. Yeah, it makes a good knife, the 1/8 inch, but it's a pain to forge. Because you can see I'm constantly, it wants to collapse on itself, so I constantly have to make adjustments, which it's fine. It just makes it take a little bit longer. But we're getting there. It's nice because, I mean, I'll have to, as the tip gets smaller, it gets easier to forge because it gets thicker. Oh. Okay, I got a little cold shut on this side though. That's not good. Let's grind that off really quick. I don't want to forge that cold shut in there. I don't want to forge the cold shut into the tip. There we go. Make sure there's no cold shut forged into the tip. That'd be bad. At least I'll forge a 3/16. 3/16 is what I normally forge. But yeah, this one's turning, it's a little bit more difficult, but we'll get her in the end. We'll get it. It's getting there. Just takes a little bit longer, a little harder. Bro, do you love me? I don't know you, but I'm glad that you're here. I love that you're here. Is that a vacuum or just a bucket on the grinder? It's a vacuum system. So they're all hooked up to a vacuum system. It doesn't have a filter in the entire system. What would happen if you left that cold bit on there? It would be a cold shut, so if you have a piece of steel, it folds over and onto itself. And what ends up happening is it would all be fine, but if you don't grind it out, you just have a point that you're going to get rust in there and all types of stuff, or a piece of it will come off. So you really have to get rid of those because it's just, it won't forge well together. So it's just literally a piece of steel that's randomly on there. So it's not good. Yeah, the vacuum's rad. How can you love someone you don't know? All I can say is I love that you're here. That's what I can say. No, this vacuum system's epic. This is a bucket. These are bucket of water. So it goes down into a bucket of water so the hot sparks get stuck in the water so you can grind wood and metal at the same time. And the sparks get stuck in the water and the light stuff gets sucked up into the vacuum system. All right, I'm a butcher by trade. And what you blacksmith do to create our blades is awesome. Oh, that's so cool. That's rad. That would most likely have been fine. I don't think it was a cold shut, but it could have been if you weren't careful. Yeah, I don't take chances with that though. I mean, the last thing I want to do, especially with 1/8 inch, I don't have a lot of material to work with. And I really, really wouldn't want to deal with that later. So now we'll get the tip forged in. I gotta make sure that stays thinned out though. There we go. Beautiful. So you'll notice I'm only forging on the backside and the blade's pretty much flat, which is because I haven't forged the bevels in yet. And as I forge these bevels in, I forge down here, it's actually going to push this edge of the knife up. And so you have to compensate. And I'm actually going to overcompensate a little bit. I'm probably going to forge the tip down a little bit more in the horn, just so it doesn't come up too high, because I don't want it up crazy high. But we're getting there. Boop. Now, I think I'm going to forge in the belly of it. Let's see, Coal Iron Works Forge Press. What are your thoughts on it? The Coal Iron Works Forge Press is fantastic. I have had the pleasure of going to their shop and using their presses. And I've used it. In my last shop, we had a 16-ton, and they're amazing machines. I highly, highly suggest the Coal Iron Works presses. Any of them are good. Oh, what's up, wifey? My wife's on here. Is that the Doyle anvil? It is. Yeah, it's from Harbor Freight. Freaking works awesome, dude. As long as it's properly mounted, it works fantastic. I love this little thing. Will a 12-ton do the job? Yeah. It's a little slower, but you're 12. If you get a 12-ton, you're going to be fine. Dude, is there a crack? No way. It almost looks like there's a crack. Do I have a crack on here? No way. Oh, it's just some decarb. I thought I had a crack. I was like, no! Same one I have. It works great. Yeah, the 12-ton works fantastic. Like, really good. Like, it'll work really good. All right, I'm going to forge in this little guy right here. I need to make another hammer. Let's see if we can. Get that little recurve type shape in there just a little bit. Kind of getting it right there. It's getting there. Oh, I wish this was 3/16. Such a pain in the butt to use these. That's the same one I have. 2 turtle doves and a partridge in a pear tree. You know it. I've been trying to get into blacksmithing. Any tips? A homemade press. It doesn't move anything. I want to upgrade. I feel a lot. Yeah, I'd get the 12-ton. You'll be so happy with it. Thank you for the info. Love your work. No problem. Yeah, 12-ton will do everything you're gonna need it to do. Especially if you're not doing crazy Damascus, it'll work fantastic. So I highly suggest a 12-ton. Trying to get into blacksmithing. Any tips? Blacksmithing? Get yourself a forge. You can get, this is literally a Harbor Freight anvil. As long as it's properly mounted, works absolutely fantastic. These are Harbor Freight hammers. I've been doing this for 9 years. So Harbor Freight hammers works fine. And get yourself a vise. You can just go get a vise like this and it'll work great. But between those 3 things, that'll get you started off and doing really well. You don't need the craziest tools unless you want to spend a bunch of money, which you for sure, nobody's telling you you can't, so you could if you wanted to. But I would suggest, I'm going to use this ball peen. Forge in the part of the recurve here. There we go. You can see the hammer next to me doesn't even move because I have the anvil properly mounted, so you can just hammer away. All right, we got a little recurve shape. I don't want a lot. I want it to be very not super aggressive. So now I'm going to take the tip and we're going to forge the tip down, and then I'm going to spread it out with the cross peen part of the hammer. Ah! Let go. Little turd nugget. What are you doing? Okay, there we go. All right. You have my dream job. It's really great. I will say, you could see me at this point in time and be like, dude, this is everything I've ever wanted. Obviously, this is what I want to do. It took me years to get here, and I had to struggle and put in more work than I've ever put in my entire life into making this become a reality. My first shop was the size of this garage door, the whole shop. So, and I've had 4 shops, 3 or 4 shops. And, oh man, the amount of work it took is just, it's wild. So that's the difference between making it and not making it. It could be your dream job, but you're gonna have to work probably twice as hard as you've ever worked in your life to get it. Especially in the blacksmith world and knife making world. It's not like it's, you know, that most happening place in the whole world. You have to really stand out. There's a lot of knife makers, and you got to do something to stand out. And it is not easy. All right, we're going to bend the tip down so it's pointing down even further. So that way when I start forging on this thing, so then I'm going to start with the cross peen, and I'm actually going to pull the front of this knife. Oh my gosh, did that just crack? Oh, it's that piece again. Gosh, guys, I thought that cracked. I did too. I was like, is that cracked? Dude, I swear those look like cracks. Maybe they're not. I don't know though. It's freaking me out. Is that a crack? Can't tell. Dude, if that cracks, I'm gonna be so upset. That'd be a bummer. Let's see, same here. I have a nice van. No one knows it took me 20 years to be my dream job of graphic sales. For sure. Any advice for heat treating my first knife? It's 1095 steel and I don't have a forge. Okay, if you don't have a forge, I can tell you exactly what you need to do. You know the yellow bottles of these? The MAP gas torches? Buy 2 of those. Get 2 of these, but the yellow ones, the MAP gas. Clamp your knife down and hit the edge with this. So you could run both torches down the edge of your knife. And if you have quench oil, or if you don't, get some canola oil. It'll work all right for $10.95. Canola oil from like Walmart or something. And just quench it after the edge gets to a nice dark, like light orange color. Not yellow, but like a light orange will be right around 1500 degrees, and then you could quench. Is railroad spikes good for knives? They're not really great. It's a really low grade steel. It's meant to flex more than actually hold an edge. So honestly, railroad spikes are good practice for sure. And they'll make can't talk. Okay knives. They won't make great knives. That's the thing. So they will make a knife and you'll get a knife at the end, but it won't be great. So right now I'm just using the cross peen part of the hammer to stretch the bevel out in the front on this knife. And this stretches it in a very specific way. And I'll show you what I mean. There we go. Now we're getting that thing forged down. So when you're using a hammer like this, you have the front part where you hammer. What happens is as you hammer with this front, the steel will stretch in all directions because it's kind of rounded. So the steel just spreads out. When you have a cross beam like this part of the hammer, you'll notice it's really thin this way, stick this way. So as you're striking metal, it only moves the steel this way and this way. It doesn't stretch it out on top. So it's really good for pulling steel down or pushing it up where you want it, because it'll only take the steel and move it in lines. So that's what's good about these cross pins, is if you need to stretch steel out in a specific way, use the cross pins, and it doesn't just spread steel out in every direction. It's very precise. There we go. We'll forge that out just a little bit more. It'll definitely turned out a little thinner than I wanted. I'm not gonna lie. Not 100% stoked about this look, at least yet. We'll see once I haven't finished forged anything, so alright, let's see. Start forging this thing out a little bit, the bevels on it. There's that stupid cold shit. I'll grind it off, it'll be fine, but just, I hate seeing them. Freaks me out. So now we're getting it down a little bit. I'm gonna forge it out a little bit more. Recurve. It's not a chef. It's just like a mini recurve. Kind of playing around, honestly. But not a chef knife. I'm about to make my first pair of tongs once I get my material in the mill. That's awesome. I've never made a pair of tongs. That's one thing I've never tried, is making a pair of tongs, but that is rad to do. Let me know how it goes. Be better than mine, because I've never made any. I just buy them. I like making knives. Tongs would be fun to make, but not something I feel like doing. Deer antler knife? This one's not going to be, I don't know, maybe it will. Actually, I do have some antler I could use for it. With the size of it, could probably get away with using some of this stuff. Let's see. There's some cool pieces in here. I haven't tried filling micro crickets with epoxy. It should turn out great. Micro circuits? I haven't tried filling micro circuits with epoxy resin. It should turn out great. Like to protect it from water? It'll work great as long as you get an epoxy that doesn't heat up. It'll overheat and might overheat the solder joints on you if you're doing a So now we're forging in the bevel. A little bit here. Get that tip down there a little bit. Just a little bit. Just a little bit. I hate how quick the heat gets sucked out of these 1/8 inch. Alright. It's getting pretty good. I definitely got to my handle's a little goofy. That's pretty good. These tongs are just making me mad. Those are for 3/16. Goodness! Oh wait, you know what? I got these ones. Yeah, there you go. hard because I got this little part right here. I can't. Trying to straighten everything out. Woo! I could probably tap that down a little bit. Nice and easy. That's better. It's not bad. Not bad. It's just the 1/8 inch is not where I'm stoked. You should go on Forge and Fire. I never really wanted to. I haven't tried filling in microcircuits. Okay. Where's all the shotties with type 2 diabetes? What? There's so much that I'm always like, I don't even know what that means, man. Oh. It's funny, we get to this point where I'm like, it's okay. The handle I wish was a little thicker. I definitely wish I had thicker steel. This 1/8 inch is hard to move the way I want it to be moved. And it really bums me out. I need to cut. Let's get this thing cut out. This is stainless steel though, so I know it's gonna suck to forge. I think the microcircuit thing was for knife scales. Oh! I like how you're picking up on it way before me. Okay. Oh, that'd be cool. Yeah, I've seen a lot of people do it. It's cool. It's different and neat, I guess. Let's do a 2 inch. That's what I need. 2 inch. By 2 inch here. And that's probably plenty of steel right there. I could just, that's pretty tall. I don't really need it to be that tall. Like that. Is that 2 inch? That's 2 inches. I might need to make it a little bigger than that, huh? Let's just cut it. Let's cut that out. We'll cut it like right there. Right there. Let that thing cut while I forge this. All right. Get that tip forged down a little bit. It looks all right. It's funny, you have to forge so gentle, because I don't want to overdo it. Gotta try and get this tip pointed in the right direction here. Oh, I thought it stopped cutting. Get that tip forged in a little bit here. You gotta be so gentle, so gentle. There we go. It's funny because it looks tedious. It's like, oh, you're just doing this little tiny tap. But to get to the end, there it is. That's better. That's the tip I want. All right, so we got that. That looks good. So now I need to adjust the handle. We're gonna make a few adjustments on the handle here, so let's put that back in there. It's a little mini kukri style. How's this thing doing? Going. I was like, is it even cutting anymore? Oh, what's going on, guys? I think oh yeah. Oh, dude, this stainless is, looks like it murdered my blade. Gosh. Oh yeah, it did. Oh wait, no, it didn't. I'm an idiot. Look, I was like, dude, it won't cut any farther. It's hitting on the top. It's hitting this. I was like, dude, it won't cut at all. Or if I could just, oh, look at that. Now the question is, you think we could cut it really sketchily like this? I think we can do it. Think we can do it? Oh, that looks sketchy. Right now I'm trying to cut some stock. I don't know if this is a bad idea. Let's see here. Put this piece in the other side. This is a good idea. Yeah, this is a great idea. Oh, I don't know if it's gonna work. Oh God, that sounds horrible. No, there's no way that works. That's such a bad idea. Let's go back and forth on that for a second. I was just trying to be lazy. It won't let me. Frustrating. Let me be lazy, dude. That looks pretty good. I think I'm gonna forge in. Let me see this little guy. I'm gonna forge in this just a little bit more. There we go. That forged down. So we're getting pretty close. There's a couple things I don't really like on here. There we go. Just on the handle part, I'm trying to sort out. Since it's a brute to forge, it's really, you don't have a lot of options. Once it's forged, you know? Not bad though. I don't mind it. I think I'm gonna distal taper it on the handle, so I'm gonna stretch it out just a little bit. I want the handle just a little bit wider. It's too skinny. What am I doing? I am making a brute to forge knife. I was gonna cut some extra steel. But I was about to do it in a terrible way. And my machine said, don't you dare. Because I wanted to be lazy, but it won't let me. What a bummer, right? You know, I could forge this. That's why, dude. That's a big chunk of steel. I'll tell you what, I'll do this. Oh, that's cutting pretty good. Morning from your neighbors. Oh, that's cutting good. All right. What's going on, everybody? I'm just cutting some raw stock right now. I think I'm going to just cut this part of the handle since I'm doing it by hand. Let's let's just leave that right there. So that's going to be plenty. But just, it's not cheating. Just a little pre-cut. There we go. That's our next chunk. So this will be the handle. And then this will be the blade. But, oh, I got a lot of forging to do if I'm going to do that. Woo! She wide. All right, let's see if we can get this handle a little closer to shaped. I don't mind it. I just want to get this guy forged down a little bit more here. Forge that down. Now let's take this and spread this out a little bit here. We'll hit it with the cross beam, and that will open up this rear of the knife. So right now I'm just spreading the butt of the knife basically. Okay, there we go. Yeah, we're getting there. So I got to fix this little part. We'll forge that in a little bit, like right down in there like that. And I'll bring this in just a hair more. So, what knife? Let's see. Hey, what's going on, guys? What knife are you? This is a Brute to Forge mini kukri. This is like a recurve. Do you have a mask on? I do not have a mask on, no. I don't really wear a mask when I'm forging. How do you know how much to start with when forging? I do everything by eye. So you can do it with math for sure. I got a buddy, Mareko Mamasi. He lives down the road from me. He does everything mathematically. He will calculate everything out to a T. That's not me. So I will do everything by eye. And yeah, it just kind of is. After a while, you just kind of can picture, depending on how thick it is, you'll be able to understand how much material and where's it going to move. But you can definitely calculate it out if you want. But yeah, I eyeball everything. Like this is 3/16. This is too much steel for my handle, but that's okay. I wanted a little extra. And I left this super thick because it'll probably stretch out. We'll get a knife that's that much bigger. After I forge the bevels in and get the tip forged in. So it just takes time and practice. But yeah, you could definitely do the math. For sure. I'm just not one of those guys. I don't do it with the math. So right now I'm just widening out my handle because I'm going to taper it, so it's going to get a little thinner toward the back. I don't want to do it too thin, but it definitely will get thinner. Yeah, we're getting there. I'm taking my time with this one. I'm not really rushing it. I suck at math. Guess I'll be winging it. Hey, welcome to the club. Yeah, what if you? Some people have a really good eye for stuff, like proportions and stuff. So it really depends. Some people they need the math. They can't eyeball it. They don't have an eye for it. And there's nothing wrong with that. But some of us can literally just look at a chunk of steel and go, okay, give me this much. Or if we have a chunk, you know, like these 3 little pieces of Damascus, I know that when I forge weld them together, I'm going to have plenty of steel to make a hidden tang knife out of these chunks. So most people always go a little heavy on material. You can always remove extra material, but it is harder to add material. Yeah, there ain't no add material. So I would highly suggest making the handles too long, the blades too wide, all that stuff, and then that way you can remove material when you need to, and you'll end up learning a lot in that process. Steel is honestly very cheap. People are always like, oh man, I don't want to spend a bunch of money on steel, but honestly, steel's not expensive. So all right, I'm going to forge in. I want this to be, that's probably pretty good. Hello from Russia. What's going on? I'm going to forge that down a little bit more. Bend it over. Get the butt forged down a little bit more. And we'll probably call it there. I'm going to get that. I'm going to clamp it in here and get the back part forged down a little bit. A little post vise. U77, I don't know what that means. I don't know what that means. I got my next chunk, the ABL stainless. I don't know if I'm going to forge that today or not. We'll see. Maybe. Hello from Switzerland. Well, hello. I'm glad you're here. Welcome to the stream. We're just out here forging a knife. Everybody's been watching. What do we got? We're like half a tank, maybe 3/4 down. I got another tank behind us, so I'll be good. Okay, that's good. Let's grab that. Actually, let me use these. These little guys. These tongs are made out of pliers from years and years ago. It's hilarious. Can't believe I still use them, to be honest. All right, let's see. We got it. Don't mind everything falling down. It's totally fine. Just gonna give this some light taps. Just trying to get this forged the shape I want it. Let me grab these babies. All right, there we go. Get over there, you little sucker. There we go. Okay, and we'll forge this back part in just a little bit more and get that done. We're getting there. It's turning into a knife, huh? It's not bad from a little piece of 1/8 inch. I'll probably put some maybe deer, antler, I don't know. We'll see what I put on it. I don't know right now. Something. I'll put something on it. If they work, they're good. Yeah. Salve Brazil. Hello from Pennsylvania. Nice. Look at these. They were wire snippers. They came from here to here. They were wire snippers, and then another Pennsylvanian welded some rebar on them. I've been using these for years. They're great little tongs. Not for forging, but for pickup tongs, just picking stuff up. They work fantastic. Great little guys. If you got a welder, you can make tongs real easy. This was way before I knew how to forge. So I was like, let's just make some tongs. but they work. All right, we'll heat up that butt and see where we're going. I don't want it to be too hot, because if it's too hot, it'll just, well, collapse basically. We'll get that right on the horn, and I'll forge this backside in a little bit. To get that little hooky do. There we go. Get that little hook forged in, and then kind of get the rest of this blended in a little bit. That's looking better. That's better. Looks good. All right, that's not bad. Now, do I like the profile? I think I want to bend. I'm going to forge the handle down just a little bit more. That way it gets a little bit more recurve shape to it. So let's bend that down just a little bit. All right, let me see. I say gunstone knife 10 out of 10. Then I look at my level at 0. Carried my ebony baby shark Wednesday on my birthday. That is fantastic. That's so cool. Oh, that's rad. I love it. Have you worked with DC-53, and if so, what challenges did you face? I have no, I have not worked with DC-53. I don't even know what that is, to be honest. DC-53. I'm trying to think. Did you make them yourselves? I'm talking about spikes. Spikes. I'm not sure what you mean. The knife? I've made the knife myself. I don't know what you mean, like spikes. You could curve that like a kukri. I'm going to curve it just a little bit. It's a tool steel, supposed to be an upgrade from the D2. Oh, I've never used D2. 80 CRV2, ABL stainless, 1080, 1095, 15 and 20, W2, W1. What else have I used? O1, S45 VN. I've never used any of the D series steel. Okay, so let's get this curved. So what I'll do is I'm actually going to curve the handle just a little bit here. So we're going to pop that right in there and kind of forge down. Not a lot, but we are going to do a little bit. And as I do that, should start to pop that down. So what I can do, let's go ahead and make these a little smaller. Or actually, no, this should be good. I'm going to give it the old slapperoo. So let's slap it right down there on that spot, and that will, let's turn this up a little bit. Just a little bit. Damascus. This isn't Damascus, but I have made Damascus, yes. Watch this. There's that one guy, he said that he broke his tongs. Duck rabbit. I hope I don't break mine. You cursed me. Santonio, what's going on? Santonio Mendoza. Oh, yeah. Let's curve it. We're going to curve it just a little bit. Turned up the forge just a hair. So I'm going to slap the blade on that little recurve part, and that's the force of it should kick the tip down a little bit. Not a lot, just a little bit. I'm just working this slowly. I'm not really trying to forge it fast. There we go. Now she's heating up. So it's not going to be a ridiculously quick process. Tell you one thing, I just pinched the crap out of my fingers, guys. There we go. We'll drop her down just a little bit. I hurt my fingies. There we go. Don't mind that one bit. One bit. Oh man, that really did pinch my fingers so bad. Tell you one thing. Still got to work on the blade a little bit. It is a little bigger than I'd like, unfortunately. Okay, let's see. What did you ask? What's your name? My name's Tori. How did you learn all this? Self-taught. Between YouTube and just experience, just practicing and doing stuff, breaking things, failing, and going from there. Did you ever let the steel determine the shape of the knife and adjust with it? Or do you always have a targeted shape in mind? I always have a targeted shape in mind, at least somewhat. I have a very specific shapes that I like, and so there's a lot of shapes I don't like, just personally. I don't like Persian-shaped knives. I don't like things that have a lot of curves. They need to have a few curves. So, yeah, I don't really... I kind of direct the steel. Any recommendations for a starter forge? Is it worth building custom? Looking to get into forging for my own hunting. Starter forge, all I would say, go on Amazon. They make a few that are double burners. Buy those Venturi double burners. Buy one of those, and then the first thing you can do is, after you buy that double burner, is buy some satinite refractory and coat the whole inside of that forge with the satinite, and you'll be good to go. That's what I would suggest. Especially for starting, just starting, to make sure you really like it. It will work fine. It's not going to be a bad deal. I'm forging in the bevel right now, so it looks probably like, what the heck are you doing? But this is a brute to forge, so I don't plan on grinding this like at all. I think I'd move the hammer. Close. I want to get this as close as I can to shape. Dude, I pinched the crap out of my fingers. All right, let's see. Speaks my YouTube to replace school. You can learn. Yeah, seriously. I have the Atlas Plus Forge. It is awesome. Oh, that's good. Live forging, insane. I speak Spanish. Good. I figured. Oh. Yes, live forging. Hopefully decent. There's so many lives that are just so boring, to be honest. I try not to be boring. Seems like the point of view, you guys really like being able to see both hands, and it feels like, I'm guessing it feels like you're kind of doing this process with me. So maybe that's why it's really neat to have the point of view forging. At least that's what I'm guessing. All right, let's keep forging these bevels out a little thinner. I'll compact the edge a little bit to get my final shape in there. So what I mean by compacting the edge is right here. I'm just gonna get my profile just established a little bit more. And we'll just get that down just a little bit. So all this is doing is just truing up the profile just a little bit. Pretty good. I gotta bend that tip down though. That tip is not in the space. It moved on me. I forged it a little more than I was expecting. Hola, ¿cómo estás? Also, let's time a camera setup and you can see how it would go without extra stops. That is true. POV perspective is mint. Yeah, I do dig it. And I can see the chat up in the top, so that's really nice. The fact that I can see the chat and respond to you guys so quickly is so nice. And I don't have to set up anything. It's just you're mounted to my chest. So, everyone liked the video. Oh, I appreciate you. You guys are so rad. No, the point of view, it's convenient for me, that's for sure. Oh. Allows me to have both hands free. I don't have to think. I can just forge. And that's that, you know. This needs to be a little closer. Let's see if we can do a little trick here. I gotta get these, aren't quite. I need to make them a little smaller, so here's what we're gonna do. Stick that in there. Clamp that down. All right, there we go. Beautiful. Beautiful. How much this knife will, I don't know, it depends when I finish it. Probably right around 500 bucks. And this is 1/8 inch. This is pretty thin steel. All right, well you can just do that, I guess. So this is a lot thinner than I normally want to use. But this is what I grabbed. So I don't know what kind of scales I'm going to put on this thing either. Oh, but we're getting there now. Tell you what, this will be a cool little slicer knife. I'm just doing some final little forging to get that tip to do what I want it to do. I got to make sure that point is crispy. I don't really want to grind on this thing. I want to do the least amount of grinding I can possibly do. So that's the goal. Okay. Honestly, I think that's probably where I'll leave this one. Clean it up just a little bit on the grinder, but not much. So there it is. The platform needs more of this crap. Some streams are. What made me decide to do YouTube? Because I want to do YouTube full time. I think it'd be fun. Let me make sure this is all nice and straight. And I think that's where I'm going to leave this knife. All right, let's make sure that's all nice, straight. Now I'm going to be doing a lot more long form videos of my build processes, but I think what the goal is every morning I wake up, I'm going to forge out one knife before I start working on my normal stuff. Keep going, the content is fire. Well, thank you. I really appreciate that. No, I'm going to keep trying. I'm going to try pretty hard. So, all right, well, that is where we're forged to. Let me grab the tongs and show you the profile we're working with here. Just for now, there we go. We'll leave it at that. There's a couple things I definitely want to change. I wish I would have been able to bring this up. It's because I started with 1/8 inch. This is what I started with. So I didn't have a lot of steel to work with in order to spread it out. So that was kind of the issue. But let's see. A little extra time in the forge to save your belts. Yeah, right? So there you go. What's your favorite thickness to use when forging out knives? I love watching you live. 3/16. So normally, this is the thickness I'd like to use. The stuff I was using was 1/8 inch. You can see it's way thinner. So 3/16 is usually what I like to use. This is my next piece, but this is stainless. I'm going to forge that one tomorrow morning, so I'll probably bring you guys along for that journey. So like I said, every morning I'm going to forge out a knife and try to get better and better. Because right now, this is fine. It's turned out pretty good. Definitely not exactly what I wanted, but that's the whole process, is getting better and better each day. So, I like that he makes his own handle material instead of just buying others' work. Thank you. Yeah, I try to make all my own stuff. Try to keep as much in-house as I can. But, so we're good with that. I'm going to leave it. And then tomorrow I will forge this guy. Tomorrow morning I'll work on this one, which will be awesome. I'll forge probably, I don't know, we'll see. We'll see what it turns out to be, huh? But I appreciate you guys being here. That's cool. I'm going to log off on here for now. I'll probably be back on later working on some other stuff, but I think I'm going to start on the YouTube knife, which is a big deal.